From today on, closeness only once every 3 months.
From today on, closeness only once every 3 months, my wife said, not looking up from her phone as we sat at the breakfast table on a Tuesday morning in March. I stopped mid-bite of my toast and stared at her. Laura was scrolling through Instagram, her coffee untouched, her face illuminated by the blue screen light. We'd been married for 9 years. I was 42, she was 38, and she'd just announced an intimacy schedule like she was reading me the weather forecast. "What did you just say?" I asked. "You heard me, David." She finally looked up, her green eyes cold and distant. "I've been thinking about it. We need boundaries, structure. I can't keep up with your expectations anymore." "My expectations? We haven't been intimate in 6 weeks." "Exactly, and you keep pressuring me, so I'm setting a boundary. Once every 3 months. Take it or leave it." The kitchen felt suddenly smaller, the morning sun through the window too bright. I worked as a software engineer from home. Laura was a real estate agent who'd been crushing it lately, as she liked to say. She'd sold 4 houses last month alone, made nearly $80,000 in commissions. She was gone most evenings, showing properties, meeting clients, attending networking events. "Is there someone else?" I asked quietly. "Oh my God." She rolled her eyes. "Not everything is about cheating, David. I'm just tired. I'm working hard. I don't have the energy for intimacy right now, so I'm giving you a schedule. It's better than nothing." "Better than nothing? That's what our marriage has become? A quarterly obligation? If you don't like it, we can make it 0 times. Would you prefer that?" I looked at her, really looked at her, at the woman I'd married in a backyard ceremony with 30 people, the woman who used to laugh at my stupid jokes, who used to surprise me with little notes hidden in my lunch, who used to curl up against me on the couch every evening. That woman was gone. In her place sat a stranger who scheduled intimacy like dental appointments. "I need to think about this," I said. "Think all you want, but those are my terms." She stood up, grabbed her purse, and headed for the door. "I've got a showing at 9. Don't wait up tonight. I'll probably grab dinner with a client." The door closed. I sat there with my cold toast, my lukewarm coffee, and a marriage that had just officially died. But Laura didn't know what she'd started. She'd set the terms, and I was about to follow them exactly, just not the way she expected. I spent the rest of that day working, thinking, planning. By evening, I'd made my decision. If Laura wanted boundaries and structure, I'd give her boundaries and structure. Complete boundaries. Total structure. Starting now. When Laura came home at 11 p.m. that night, I was in the guest bedroom with my laptop, working on code for a client project. She poked her head in. "What are you doing in here?" "Working." "Why aren't you in our room?" "I'm respecting your boundaries. You said once every 3 months. So for the next 3 months, I'll be staying in here. That way you have your space and I'm not pressuring you." She frowned. "That's not what I meant." "What did you mean?" "I meant, I don't know. Just that we don't need to be intimate as often. Not that you should move into the guest room." "Well, I'm giving you what you asked for. Complete distance, no pressure, no expectations. For 3 months, we'll be roommates, nothing more." "David, you're being ridiculous." "No, I'm being respectful of your clearly stated boundaries. See you tomorrow." I closed the door. She stood outside for a moment, then I heard her footsteps retreat down the hall. The next morning, I woke up early, made my coffee, and ate breakfast before Laura came downstairs. I left a note on the counter. "Working from the home office today. Coffee's made?" That was it. No conversation, no morning routine. Just the facts. Laura found me at my desk around 9 a.m. "Are you seriously doing this? The silent treatment?" "I'm not giving you the silent treatment. I'm giving you space. You set the terms, I'm following them." "I didn't say we couldn't talk." "You said closeness only once every 3 months, so I'm eliminating all closeness. It's cleaner that way. No confusion about boundaries." "That's insane." "Is it? You scheduled intimacy like a business meeting. I'm just extending that principle to all aspects of our relationship. For 3 months, we're business partners sharing a house. That's it." Her face flushed red. "You're punishing me." "No, I'm protecting myself. You made it clear what this marriage is now. I'm adapting." She stared at me for a long moment, then turned and left without another word. Over the next few days, I maintained the boundary rigidly. I cooked my own meals, did my own laundry, cleaned up after myself. When Laura tried to start conversations, I kept my responses brief and factual. "How was your day?" "Fine." "Yours?" "We need to talk about this." "About what?" "About you acting like a child." I'm acting like someone whose wife scheduled intimacy 4 times a year. This is me accepting reality. She'd storm off. I'd go back to work. After 2 weeks, she tried a different approach. Came home one evening with takeout from my favorite Thai place. "I got us dinner," she said, setting the bags on the counter. "Thanks, but I already ate." "David, come on. Can we please just have dinner together?" "Why? We're not close. You said so yourself." I said we needed boundaries around intimacy. Not that we couldn't eat together. Eating together is intimate. So is talking about our days. So is watching TV together. I'm eliminating all intimacy, like you asked. That's not what I asked for. Then what did you ask for? Spell it out for me. Because from where I'm sitting, you want me available for conversation and companionship, but not intimacy. You want the benefits of a husband without the obligations of a wife. And I'm not interested in that arrangement. So what, you're just going to ignore me for 3 months? I'm not ignoring you. I'm respecting your boundaries. If you need something practical, like help with a bill or a household repair, I'm here. But friendship, companionship, intimacy, those are off the table, per your request. She threw the takeout bags in the trash and left. By week 3, Laura was sleeping on the couch most nights, claiming she couldn't sleep. I didn't comment. Just kept working, kept to myself, kept waiting. I wasn't being cruel. I was being strategic. Laura had gotten comfortable with having everything her way. She worked when she wanted, went out when she wanted, came home when she wanted. And I'd been the patient, understanding husband who never complained. But her ultimatum had shown me something important. She didn't value me. She valued what I provided. The clean house, the emotional support, the financial stability. But me, as a person, as a partner, I was convenient, optional, a quarterly appointment. So I was showing her what life looked like when convenience went away. Week 5. Laura stopped coming home most nights, texted that she was staying at her mother's, or at her friend Stephanie's, or at a hotel near a listing. I didn't respond to most texts, just the practical ones. "Where's the mortgage payment?" "Paid on the 1st, like always." "Did you pick up my dry cleaning?" "That's not on my list of responsibilities." "Since when?" "Since you scheduled our marriage like a dentist appointment." She started posting more on social media. Pictures of her at restaurants with clients, at bars with friends. Always smiling, always glowing, always busy. I didn't comment, didn't like, didn't engage. One of her posts caught my attention. A photo of her at a wine bar with someone tagged as a Brian Realtor. The caption read, "Best mentor ever. Thank you for teaching me everything about this business." I clicked on Brian's profile. Brian Sutherland, 45, divorced, specialized in luxury properties, lots of photos of expensive houses, a few photos of him with Laura at various industry events. Interesting. I downloaded every photo of them together, just in case. Week 6. Laura came home unexpectedly at 2 p.m. on a Thursday. I was in the middle of a Zoom call, so I didn't hear her come in. When my meeting ended, I found her standing in my office doorway. "We need to talk," she said. "I'm working." "I don't care. We need to talk right now." I closed my laptop. "Okay, talk." "This has gone on long enough. You've made your point. Can we please just go back to normal?" "What's normal?" "You know what I mean, acting like a married couple." "We are acting like a married couple. A married couple where the wife scheduled intimacy 4 times a year and the husband respected that boundary." I didn't mean it literally. It was just, I was frustrated. I was tired. I said something stupid. "So you want to take it back?" "Yes." "Okay, take it back." "I'm taking it back. I was wrong. Can we please move past this now?" "What exactly are you taking back? The scheduling? Or the fact that you're tired of me?" "I never said I was tired of you." "You said you were tired, that you didn't have energy for intimacy, that I was pressuring you. Those were your exact words." She sat down on the couch across from my desk. "David, I'm under a lot of stress. Work is crazy. I'm making good money, but it's demanding. I'm exhausted all the time, and yes, I took it out on you. I'm sorry." "Are you sleeping with Brian?" Her face went white. "What?" "Brian Sutherland, your mentor. Are you sleeping with him?" "How dare you accuse me of that?" "I'm not accusing. I'm asking, because you're never home. You're always with him. You post pictures of him, and you suddenly don't want to be intimate with your husband, so I'm asking, are you sleeping with him?" "No." "God, David, is that what this is about? You think I'm cheating?" "Are you?" "No." "Then why the schedule? Why the distance? Why are you never home anymore?" She stood up, her hands shaking. "Because I needed space. Because after 9 years, I felt suffocated. Is that so wrong? To want some independence? Independence from what? I work from home. I don't stop you from doing anything. You come and go as you please? Exactly. You're always here, always watching, always expecting me to check in. I'm working, in my office. I barely see you most days. But you're here, and I know you're here, and it feels like I can't breathe sometimes. Finally, the truth. So you don't want to be married anymore, I said quietly. That's not what I said. Yes, it is. You want the house and the financial stability and the social status of being married, but you don't want an actual husband. You want a roommate who pays half the bills and leaves you alone. That's not fair, isn't it? Tell me, Laura, when was the last time you asked about my day, about my work, about anything in my life? She opened her mouth, closed it, tried again. We talk all the time. We used to talk. Before you got busy, before Brian, before you decided I was suffocating you by existing in my own home. This is ridiculous. I'm not having this conversation. She left. I sat at my desk for a long time after she'd gone, thinking about what she'd said, about feeling suffocated, about needing space. And I realized something. This marriage was over. It had been over for months, maybe longer. I'd just been too comfortable, too complacent to notice. But I'd noticed now, and I was done being convenient. Week 8. I hired a private investigator. His name was Tommy Riggs, a former cop who'd gone private after a back injury forced him off the force. He charged $150 an hour. What do you need? He asked during our phone consultation. I need to know where my wife is when she says she's with clients. I need to know if she's cheating. You have suspicions? Yeah, a guy named Brian Sutherland. They work together. She's always with him. I can follow her, get photos. Usually takes about a week to establish a pattern. Do it. He started surveillance the next day. Laura had a showing at 11 a.m., according to her calendar, which she still shared with me. Tommy followed her from our house. At 2 p.m., he sent me a photo. Laura and Brian, having lunch at an upscale Italian place downtown. They were sitting on the same side of the booth, leaning close, laughing. At 4 p.m., another photo. Laura and Brian entering a condo building in the Pearl District. Expensive place. Doorman. Valet parking. At 6 p.m., Laura leaving the condo building. Alone. Hair messed up. Dress wrinkled. At 6:30 p.m., Brian leaving the same building. Looking satisfied. Tommy called me at 7. You want me to keep going? Yeah, document everything. Over the next 5 days, Tommy followed Laura to 3 more showings that ended at Brian's condo. She stayed between 2 and 3 hours each time. The pattern was consistent: lunch, condo, leave separately. On day 6, Tommy got video. Laura and Brian kissing in the parking garage before going up to his place. The video was date-stamped, clear, undeniable. I've got everything you need for a divorce, Tommy said. Adultery's not technically grounds in Oregon anymore, but judges still consider it when dividing assets. Send me everything. Keep it confidential. You got it. That night, Laura came home around 9. She was in a good mood, humming as she walked in. Hey, she said, surprised to see me in the living room. You're not in your office. Nope. Well, I'm glad. I've been thinking. Maybe we should go to counseling. Work through this rough patch. Why now? Because I miss you. I miss us. And I think if we could just communicate better... Are you still sleeping with Brian? She froze. What? Brian Sutherland. Are you still sleeping with him? Or was today an exception? I don't know what you're talking about. Sure you do. I pulled up the video on my phone and turned it toward her. That's you and Brian in his parking garage, 2 hours ago, before you went up to his condo for the 3rd time this week. Her face went from confusion to shock to anger in the span of 3 seconds. You had me followed? I did. That's insane. That's a violation of my privacy. You lost privacy rights when you started cheating on me. I'm not cheating. I have 6 days of surveillance. Photos, videos, timestamps. You've been to his place 12 times in the last week and a half. You're having an affair. Just admit it. She sat down heavily on the couch. For a long moment, she didn't say anything. Then, it's not what you think. It never is. Brian and I, it's just physical. It doesn't mean anything. Just physical. Doesn't mean anything. Got it. That makes it so much better. David, you have to understand. You shut me out. You moved into the guest room. You stopped talking to me. I was lonely. You shut me out first. You scheduled intimacy 4 times a year. You said I was suffocating you. You were never home. You started this. So what? This is my punishment? You let me have an affair so you could catch me? No. You had an affair because you wanted to. I just documented it. There's a difference. What are you going to do? I'm filing for divorce. You'll be served papers tomorrow. David, wait. Please. We can fix this. I'll end things with Brian. We can go to counseling. We can't. Because I don't want to fix this. You're right about one thing. I don't want to be married to you anymore. But unlike you, I'm not going to cheat and lie. I'm going to do this legally and cleanly. What about the house? I'm keeping it. It was mine before we got married. Your name's not on the deed. But I've been paying half the mortgage. For 3 years, I'll compensate you for that. But the house is mine. You can't do this. Watch me. She started crying. Big theatrical tears. David, please. I made a mistake. Don't throw away 9 years over one mistake. It wasn't one mistake. It was 12 visits to Brian's condo. It was months of lying. It was you choosing him over me, over and over. So no, I'm done. I went upstairs to the guest room and locked the door. Heard her crying downstairs for an hour. Then heard her make a phone call. Heard her say Brian's name. Heard her tell him I knew. And I smiled, because my plan was working perfectly. The divorce papers were served at Laura's office on a Friday afternoon. She called me immediately, screaming, "You served me at work? In front of my colleagues? Are you serious?" It's where you spend all your time. Seemed appropriate. You're trying to humiliate me. I'm trying to end our marriage. If you're humiliated, that's on you. She hung up, called back 10 minutes later. My lawyer says you're claiming adultery as grounds. Your lawyer's smart. You can't prove it. I can. I have surveillance footage, photos, timestamps, your lover's address, everything. This is going to ruin me. My reputation, my career. Should have thought about that before you scheduled our marriage and started sleeping with your mentor. I hate you. That's fine. Talk to your lawyer. We'll settle this in court. She moved out that weekend, went to stay with Stephanie, her friend from college. I changed the locks on Monday, which was legal since the house was in my name only. Laura's lawyer, a woman named Patricia Vance, called me on Tuesday. "Mr. Patterson, I'm representing Laura in the divorce. We need to discuss settlement." I'm listening. My client is willing to forgo claims on the house in exchange for spousal support. $50,000 over 2 years. No. Excuse me? I'm not paying spousal support. She committed adultery. She destroyed the marriage. She gets nothing. Mr. Patterson, Oregon is a no-fault state. But judges still consider infidelity when dividing assets and determining support. I have documentation. Laura makes $80,000 a year in commission. She doesn't need my money. She's entitled to whatever the judge decides. And when the judge sees the video of her making out with Brian before going to his condo for a 3-hour showing, I'm betting she won't be entitled to much. That's vindictive. That's justice. Talk to Laura. Tell her to settle for nothing or we go to trial and I make everything public. Patricia hung up. 2 days later, Laura called me directly. You're really going to do this? Drag me through court? Show those videos to a judge? If you force me to, yes. Why? Why are you being so cruel? Cruel? You cheated on me for months. You lied to my face. You scheduled our marriage like a business appointment, and now you want mercy? I want fairness. I helped build our life. I deserve something. You deserve exactly what you gave me. Nothing. You gave our marriage nothing for the last 6 months except lies and disrespect, so that's what you're getting back. I'll fight you on this. Patricia says we can make a case for emotional abuse. That you isolated me, that you gave me the silent treatment. By all means, make that case. And I'll show the court how it started, with you scheduling intimacy 4 times a year and telling me I was suffocating you by existing in my own home. Let's see how that plays. Silence on the line. Then, what do you want from me? I want you to sign the papers. Take your personal belongings. Walk away. Move on with Brian or whoever's next. Just get out of my life. And if I do that, you'll keep the videos private? I'll keep them private unless you force me to use them in court. Sign the papers, and nobody but us and the lawyers will ever know what happened. You're a bastard. I'm someone who got cheated on and decided not to be a victim. Sign the papers, Laura. She signed them a week later. The divorce was uncontested. No alimony, no asset division beyond me compensating her for 3 years of mortgage payments, which came to $18,000, small price to pay for my freedom. The judge finalized everything in March, exactly 3 months after Laura's ultimatum. 3 months of silence. 3 months of distance. 3 months of watching her destroy herself while I documented everything. People asked me later if I felt guilty, if I regretted how I'd handled it, if maybe I'd been too harsh. The answer was no. Not even a little bit. 2 weeks after the divorce was final, I got a call from Brian Sutherland. "David, this is Brian. I think we need to talk. I have nothing to say to you. Please, just 5 minutes. I owe you an explanation." "You don't owe me anything except an apology you'll never give. Goodbye." "Wait, it's about Laura. She's not who you think she is." That stopped me. "What does that mean?" "Can we meet? For coffee? I have things you should know." Against my better judgment, I agreed. We met at a Starbucks downtown the next afternoon. Brian looked worse than I'd expected. Tired, unshaven, hollow-eyed. "Thanks for coming," he said as I sat down. "You have 5 minutes. Laura and I aren't together anymore. Haven't been since the divorce was finalized. Why should I care? Because I think she was using both of us. And I want you to know the truth." I leaned back. "I'm listening." "The affair started about 4 months ago. She pursued me, not the other way around. Said her marriage was dead, that you were controlling and cold, that she was planning to leave you and needed someone to support her through it." "And you believed her?" "Yeah, she was convincing. Plus, I'd been divorced for 2 years and was lonely. She paid attention to me, made me feel important." "Get to the point." "The point is, I think she planned the whole thing. The affair, the divorce, all of it." "Why would she do that?" "Because about 2 weeks ago she asked me to invest in a real estate venture. Said we should buy properties together, flip them, make money as a team. She needed $100,000 from me to get started." "Did you give it to her?" "Almost, but something felt off. So I did some digging, ran a background check. Found out Laura's got $30,000 in credit card debt you probably didn't know about. Found out she took out a personal loan for $20,000 6 months ago. Found out she's been living way beyond her means." I hadn't known any of that. We'd kept separate accounts, which seemed smart at the time. Now I realized it had been her way of hiding financial problems. "She needed money," I said slowly, "and she thought sleeping with you would get her access to yours. That's what I think, and when I said no to the investment, she dumped me. Said I was a disappointment, that I was just like you. Then she blocked me." "So you're warning me because she's already dating someone else. Saw her on Instagram with some tech CEO, and I'm betting she's running the same playbook. I don't want her to destroy another guy's life." "Why do you care?" "Because I realized something after she left. I wasn't in love with her. I was in love with the idea of her, the fantasy she sold me. And I'm betting you were too, once upon a time, before you saw who she really is." He stood up. "That's all I wanted to say. Do with it what you want. But watch your back. She's going to come back eventually, when the money runs out, when the new guy figures her out. She'll come back and try to get more from you. Don't let her." He left. I sat there for a long time, thinking about what he'd said, about Laura's debts, about her patterns, about how the affair had started right around the time she'd started having money troubles at work. And I realized Brian was right. Laura hadn't wanted intimacy once every 3 months. She'd wanted distance, space to build her exit strategy, space to find her next mark. I'd just gotten in the way by calling her out, by refusing to play along, by documenting everything. She'd wanted to use me as a safety net while she monkey-branched to someone richer, and I'd cut the net. Good. 6 months after the divorce, Laura showed up at my door. It was October, raining, cold. She was standing on my porch looking miserable when I opened the door to get the mail. "David, can we talk?" "No." "Please, just 5 minutes." "You have 2 minutes. Talk. I made a mistake, with everything, with Brian, with how I treated you. I'm sorry." "Okay. Apology noted. Is that all?" "I was hoping we could talk. Maybe get coffee. Catch up." "Why would we do that?" "Because we were married for 9 years. Because we have history. Because I miss you." "You miss me, or you miss what I provided?" She looked away. "That's not fair." "Sure it is. Let me guess. Things didn't work out with the tech CEO. You're broke. You need money. And you thought you could come back here and manipulate me into helping you. I don't need your money." "Then why are you here?" "Because I realized I made a mistake. I threw away a good marriage for nothing. And I want to see if there's any chance, any possibility that we could try again." I almost laughed. Almost. "You scheduled intimacy 4 times a year. You cheated on me for months. You lied. You gaslit me. And now you want to try again? People can change. Not you. You're the same person you've always been. Selfish, manipulative, always looking for the next thing that can give you what you want." "That's not true. Isn't it? Tell me, Laura. How much debt are you in now?" Her face went pale. What? I know about the credit cards, the personal loan, the fact that you're drowning financially. That's why you're really here. Not because you miss me, because you need someone to save you. Who told you that? Brian, after you dumped him when he wouldn't invest in your fake real estate scheme. It wasn't fake? Yes, it was. Just like everything about you is fake. The successful real estate agent who's barely making rent, the independent woman who can't manage her own money, the wife who needed space but really needed someone else to pay her bills. I came here to apologize, to make amends, and you're throwing it in my face. Because your apology is bullshit. You're not sorry. You're desperate. There's a difference. She started crying. The same theatrical tears from before. You're so cruel. You weren't always like this. What happened to you? You did. You destroyed the man who loved you, and what's left is someone who won't be manipulated anymore. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to leave, you're going to stop contacting me, and you're going to find some other sucker to solve your problems, because I'm done. I need help, David, please. Then get a second job. Sell your car. Move into a cheaper place. Do what everyone else does when they have money problems. But don't come to me. We're divorced. Your problems are not my problems anymore. What about compassion? What about being a decent human being? I was decent for 9 years. Where did it get me? A wife who cheated and lied? So no. I'm done being decent. I'm done being convenient. Get off my porch. She stood there for another moment, tears streaming down her face. Then she turned and walked back to her car. I watched her drive away, then went back inside and locked the door. My phone buzzed 5 minutes later. A text from her. I hope you're happy. You destroyed me. I typed back, you destroyed yourself. I just stopped enabling it. Then I blocked her number. That was the last time I heard from Laura. According to mutual friends, she moved back to California to live with her parents. Heard she eventually married some guy she met online, probably told him the same lies she'd told Brian, probably played the same games, but that wasn't my problem anymore. 3 months. That's how long Laura had given us. Once every 3 months. And in those 3 months, I'd given her exactly what she'd asked for. Complete silence, complete distance, complete boundaries. She just hadn't expected me to maintain them forever. People still ask me sometimes if I regret how I handled it, if I wish I'd tried harder, been more forgiving, given her another chance. The answer is still no. Because Laura taught me something valuable. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. When someone treats you like an option, show them the door. When someone schedules intimacy 4 times a year, give them 0 times forever. She'd wanted distance, I gave her permanent distance. She'd wanted space, I gave her infinite space. She'd wanted boundaries. I gave her walls she could never climb. And I'd never been happier. The house was mine. My life was mine. My future was mine. No schedules, no ultimatums, no games, just freedom. Laura had said, from today on, closeness only once every 3 months. I'd nodded and decided to give her exactly that. Complete silence for 3 months, which turned into complete silence forever. Best decision I ever made.